Okay, we're going to talk about Maya setup. This DVD assumes that you have a working knowledge of Maya. I'm not going to go through all the um, basics of getting through Maya and whatnot. Using 2012 here. Um, I'm a little new to 2012 myself. I was on, I think it was 8.5 was the last version I was working in before making the jump. The studio I was at didn't want to upgrade, so we were kind of stuck with the 8.5. So if I fumble around a little bit, please forgive me, and we'll try to get through it as best we can. So let's kind of go ahead and talk about how I work with Maya, just the setups that I use, some of the hotkeys that I've set up and whatnot. I pretty much use it out of the shelf. I don't have too much customization, um, but there are a few things that I do use to help kind of speed up my workflow. Um, if I ever stumble across certain techniques that other people use, I'll try them out to try to incorporate it into my workflow. Anything to keep me moving, animating as fast as possible. I always try to keep my eye out for that kind of stuff. And I suggest you do the same. It's pretty easy to fall into a comfort zone where you're not, trying to improve and speed up, and you really need to uh, improve as an artist and animator and try to create, the best possible work as fast as possible because that's what you're getting paid to do. Because there's always someone coming up the ranks that's better and faster. So you gotta keep your edge. It's very important. Okay, so let's just kind of pop open the preferences. We'll go through this stuff first. Um, Interface, I have it set to animation. I think that's default. I don't really mess with anything else over here. I do have this scroll wheel enabled. That's personal preference. Um, UI elements, all this stuff's default. I don't mess with. Display, don't mess with much of that. Let's go down to, let's see, kinematics. Don't mess with it. Animation, that's just ghosting. Leave that pretty much as is. Let's jump down to settings. I use Y up. That may be different based on your game engine, um, but typically I always use Y up. Centimeters, degrees, and film. I'm sorry, NTSC 30 frames a second. Uh, I think most game engines are at 30. Some maybe have you animating at 60. I guess it really depends on what uh, game engine you're using and what the game requires. So let's go down to animation here. Auto key, I always have that on. It just makes me faster. I don't have to physically hit save key. Again, that's personal preference. Work however you are most comfortable. Weighted tangents, I'm going to keep that on because I like to mess with my the handles, the tangents on the curves. Um, Usually, when I'm animating for work, I have it spline set to spline. Um, when I'm working in film, I usually have it set to stepped uh, for as long as humanly possible. This will be on linear and this will be on stepped because I do so much keyframing in games. The sheer amount of animation and how quickly you need to produce it. I let the computer do as much in betweens for me as possible, so I keep this set to spline typically. But again, when I'm on film, I don't like the computer to do any of the in betweens for me. I usually do them myself because that's the amount of noodling I do typically. But for right now, I'm going to leave this on linear for some of the examples I'm going to be showing you. Let's go down the list here. Oh, wait, there's some more options down here. Or this is pretty much all default. Selection. No, time slider. Uh, I have the height. Usually when I'm working, I have it set to 2, just because I like to really see my keys at a quick glance and not have to squint so much being in front of the computer as much as I am. I try to make the viewing of things as easy as possible. I also set my key tick size, to 3 because I like them to be really fat. So I'm gonna create an object here. I'm gonna show you just anything, fine. If I save it, save a key. Okay, come on, save a key. Caps lock on. Oh, maybe because I have this open. There it goes. See how nice and fat that is? Now, if I go down and put this at the default, which I believe is 1, it's really thin, and when you're working on a lot of keys, they can bunch up and start to blend in, or make it hard to find. So I like them nice and fat, so I set them to about 3. It just makes it more visible to me, easier to see. So again, that's personal preference. Playback set to 30 frames a second. Undo, I have it set to 200. Don't know that you want to have infinite. I've heard in the past that it can cause crashes. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I always just set it to a finite amount of 200. And then save actions. Again, all this stuff is pretty basic. I'm going to actually turn off paint effects because I don't need it, nor do I need dynamics. So I'm going to save that. All right. So that's pretty much it for the preferences.